peanut butter and jelly, a cheesesteak, and a grilled cheese are all universally considered sandwiches. So why is there so much skepticism around whether or not a hot dog is a sandwich when it meets all criteria putting it in the sandwich category? The reason that this is a worldwide phenomenon is that to the average person, a hot dog is not a food that comes to mind when they hear the word sandwich. That is why the reality that a hot dog does fit all criteria in the sandwich category may shock some, if not all, skeptics. Those who deny the fact that a hot dog is a sandwich mainly feel this way because they have never been provided with the criteria that makes up a sandwich. They only associate a sandwich with a symbol that has been predetermined in their mind. Before we determine what is indeed a sandwich, we must first provide reasonable criteria that places an object into the sandwich category. The first criteria that makes something a sandwich is that it must fit all aspects of the definition of a sandwich. According to Merriam-Webster, the definition of a sandwich is 2 or more slices of bread or a split roll having a filling in between, or 1 slice of bread covered with food. The first part of the definition requires a sandwich to have 2 or more slices of bread or a split roll. The second requirement of a sandwich by definition is that it must have a filling. The last part requires that the filling is in between the 2 pieces of bread or the split roll. With each of these criteria being fulfilled, a hot dog meets all aspects of the definition of a sandwich. The second criteria that places something in the sandwich category is by legal document. In a bulletin outlining the New York State tax policy, there is an article that lists all of New York's taxable sandwiches, placing hot dogs among this list. This means that hot dogs are literally sandwiches by law in New York. In California state tax policy, one line uses the phrase, hot dog and hamburger sandwiches. This phrase directly links hot dogs and sandwiches according to state law. The last criteria that must be met in order for something to be considered a sandwich is that its attributes must fit the reason for why a sandwich was invented in the first place. In other words, it must be historically sound and fit the mold for the entire reason a sandwich was first invented. To provide some historical background, the term sandwich was first created during the late 1700s when the 4th Earl of Sandwich, John Montagu, was immersed in an intense game in which he couldn't leave. He became hungry and requested a piece of beef in between 2 slices of bread so that he could eat without quitting the game. As this type of meal became more popular in London during this time, it began to be called a sandwich, after the minister who invented it. Therefore, by historical definition, a sandwich is a portable meal in which a piece of meat is in between 2 pieces of bread, all of which the characteristics of a hot dog clearly fulfill. With simple research and a genuine passion for the truth, anyone can clearly see the resemblance of hot dogs and other foods prototypically placed in the sandwich category. Through definition, state law, and historical origins, the sandwich is undoubtedly composed of all criteria which hot dogs fulfill. The hot dog is sandwich approved.